It is the moment we have all been waiting for. Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3, has finally been released, and as far as I can tell, it's only 1 hour-long episode until part 4 comes out, which is sometime in fall of this year. So not too long, surprisingly, but long enough. So let's jump right into it. We continue right off the climax of Part 2, where Eren Yeager has just started the Rumbling, which is basically a huge thing where he transforms into what's called the Founding Titan and leads an army of colossal titans on a worldwide march that will pretty much destroy almost all of humanity except for everyone on Paradise Island. But of course, after realizing what that all will entail, Eren's friends, including Armin, because Levi, Hanji, Connie, Jean, Reiner, Opanaku. I didn't mention Opanaku. I can't even pronounce his name quite right. He's basically the only black guy in the entire series, and he showed up in the beginning of season 4. I'm bad at sometimes listing this, but yeah, that's basically the whole list of the characters who end up, really going forward with going after Eren. Many of the others stay behind, including Annie, Gabby, Falco, probably a few other people, and also a kind of an older woman who has shown up a few times in the series, who is, I'm guessing, from like this world's version of Asia, this world's version of probably Japan, where I guess Mikasa descends from, because she seems to know her, but it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, and despite clearly having a crush on her, Armin, sticks with going to find Eren, even though, it's pretty clear they both like each other, but oh well, that's just kind of that. And Pike also joins them. I also forgot to mention that. I have an actor doing that, but at least I mentioned it now. Pike also joins the gang on this whole fight for humanity, and they're getting the boat plane ready just as one of the crazy Jaegerists who was fighting them in part 2, Flock, comes back after supposedly, dying and getting flicked into the ocean, comes back and starts shooting at them, putting some holes into the fuel tank, but Mikasa kind of hits him with the ODM gear, and he falls down, and the maintenance guys for the plane have to now work hard and fast to repair that layer of the fuel tank just in time before they have to get away from the Rumbling. But unfortunately, the Rumbling is already right on its way there, so they have to be really quick, and Flock dies, and they just all get ready. The boat that Annie and the kids go onto tries to take off, and there's that. And some people are discussing who could try to keep the rumbling at bay, and that's kind of a thing, until Hanji decides to stay behind herself and fend off the rumbling. Despite, everyone's pleas, she wants to, as she quoted, go out in a cool way. At least I'm paraphrasing. And she starts walking till Levi gives her a brief goodbye, telling her to follow her heart, which she kind of chuckles at, and then takes off with her ODM gear and starts using some of the lightning spears against the colossal titans until she resorts to using her swords to take many of them out, which actually starts working very well. And just as, everyone's getting the plane ready, good to go and all fueled up, but unfortunately it ends up being too much for Hanji, as the heat from all of the colossal titans ends up setting Hanji on fire, and she's only able to take out one last colossal titan before burning up completely and dying in the air and falling. And yeah, that's it for Hanji. And everyone else is finally able to take off and fly the hell away from the rumbling. After that point, everyone's just, standing around taking in Hanji's sacrifice as they're all in the air. And after a point, they all discuss a plan on, how to take out the founding titan, thinking that maybe, just like with the Warhammer Titan, Eren might not even be directly in the neck like most titans, and also the fact that Zeke might be connected to the titan as well, and that he'll probably have a part to play in there. And just as they partly discuss being diplomatic with Eren, they're immediately sent to sort of an alternate dimension-scape, but it's more so in their heads, which was something shown in part 2, where Eren and many of the other characters were sent to this sort of scape before the rumbling started. And in there, after some waiting, Eren tells them that it's pointless to try and talk to them, or them to talk to him and be diplomatic, and that they might as well just fight him, as he's just going to keep moving forward, as he's said many times. When they all get out of that sort of state of mind, they, I guess, continue planning, knowing now that they pretty much have no choice but to fight, and still try to spitball where Eren's going to be, and if taking out Zeke will also play a big role in stopping the rumbling. After that, we cut to a mountainscape, sort of a desertish mesa, I guess, where a train is moving along up to the top of the mountain, where Annie's adopted father is holding some Marleyan soldier at gunpoint to keep the train going, hoping that they can get to the airship base on top and, airship their way out of there with many other passengers who are also on the train. They get there, but find some airships flying away and the whole base empty of airships, thinking that they're probably kind of doomed, but they then notice that the airships are going straight towards the rumbling, and we then spot a commander or whatever in the watchtower using the PA system to give a big speech mentioning that the Marlians are kind of the reason Aaron is doing what he's doing, and that they might as well do this last attempt to save humanity and, get rid of their hatred that they've had for so long. And this kind of leads to many of the other train passengers who are now on top of the base to start reflecting on all that, including Reiner's mother, who tearfully realizes that she hadn't entirely been motherly to him and mostly just set him up to be a somewhat hateful killing machine for the Marlians, which is very sad and kind of messed up, especially everyone kind of waiting and accepting for death as the bombing strike that the airships were conducting doesn't go too well. But as a child points out, there's something else in the distance, and we cut back to that thing being a plane, or the plane, as Opunhaku is kind of having a rough time flying it, with a miniature storm kind of going on, but they're able to pull through while avoiding some attacks or projectiles being thrown at them by what turns out to be Zeke in a sort of, I guess, rock-like Beast Titan form, because the Beast Titan shown in the scene is gray and seems to be connected to the founding Titan via some tendrils or whatever, almost kind of like the Warhammer Titan, I guess. And almost everyone in the plane gets out and starts fighting off the Beast Titan, and also trying to kind of figure out the founding Titan's weakness and all that. During that, Armin stops near the founding Titan's head and asks Aaron what he's thinking and what it's all about, what the whole thing is all about. And it cuts to black. And that's the end of Attack on Titan Final Season Part 3. Again, I'm very sure that this is the entirety of Part 3, just 1 hour-long special based on the episode title itself being the Final Chapters Special 1. And that's kind of all the evidence I have, but I hope I'm correct. That and Part 4 being announced not too long after the premiere. But yeah, that was really good. I'd say that this is a fantastic build-up to the main climax of the series. I think there's plenty of good character moments here, a great amount of emotion and actual fright, especially at the beginning where they show the rumbling doing what it's meant to do, which is crush and trample all over the world, basically. And it's kind of scary. It almost feels like Season 1 in terms of frightening moments, or at least frightening in a really think about it sense. Like, you gotta think about how scary it is while just looking at very disturbing stuff. Not truly frightening, but when you think about it, it really is. And I'm intrigued on how this is really going to end because, again, I've never read the manga. And, again, I'm intrigued. This is, been a long ride for me, like many others. This whole anime is nearly 10 years old, which is very crazy. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna give Season 4, Part 3, a 9 out of 10. Really good and solid. I hope you enjoyed this review for Part 3, and I hope you stay tuned for the Part 4 review, which is obviously going to be a while, but hey, we'll get to it eventually. Other than that, I hope you can also make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe check out some of my other videos. But in the meantime, stay safe, and have a good day.